Now, childcare providers in the UK are closing at an alarming rate as the cost of living crisis pushes labour and energy costs up. The British government has just announced an additional $5 billion in funding, but campaigners say that does not go far enough. Julia Chapman reports from London.
Rock, paper, scissors!
Like many British families, the John Smiths use a mix of childcare solutions. When both parents are at work, the grandparents help out. Without them, the couple says, full-time childcare for their son and daughter would be too expensive.
We would be paying over £1,000 a month just for her nursery. So that would be like the majority of my salary. It would be absolutely not worth me going back to work because I would be breaking even. And then I'd also be losing out on the time with the kids.
On average, childcare in the UK accounts for 29% of a couple's income. That's the figure after government support. Parents are given 15 hours of subsidised childcare for 3- and 4-year-olds, which goes up to 30 hours if both parents work. The government's new budget is expanding the 15 hours to 2-year-olds from next April and to 9-month-olds from next September. A year later, all eligible children under 5 would get 30 hours. Nurseries are cautious about the changes. They say the funding they get doesn't cover the growing costs of providing the childcare.
Our highest expense is the staff, but the total of staff, including our administrator, is something like, for all of us, and there's 7 of us, it's about 60 grand a year for all of us.
Many childcare providers are leaving the profession. As nurseries close, families explore other options like childminders, which can be cheaper. Rachel Carroll saw a gap in the market and started a company to fill it.
The core problem is a lack of supply. And in the case of what we do, home nursery, childminders, in about 20 years ago, there were almost 80,000 of these in the UK. Now there's only just over 20,000 of these.
Critics say more is being done to generate demand than supply. The government's focus in its latest budget was getting people back into work. But experts say there isn't enough of an emphasis on the quality of childcare, and that comes down to the training and pay of those providing it. The government says it's aiming to get women back on the career track, and researchers point to an economic benefit of the added investment.
And that's because we'd see this growth across our wider economy. So more women that aren't being pushed to drop out of the workforce, more skills and talent that are retained across our industries, across the UK. And then those parents are also obviously taxpayers.
Childcare is expected to be a significant issue for voters in the next general election. The vote will be a major test of whether the government has done enough to piece together the fragmented childcare system to create one coherent picture. Julia Chapman, CNA, London.